Hey, welcome to X3. I'm your host, John C. Dvorak. We have on this show one topic and three pundits, myself included. I'm also here with Andrew Eisner and Joe Engo, and we're going to discuss Facebook announcing video chat in partnership with Skype, which since I use Skype for some commercial purposes, find a bad idea since I know it's going to screw up. Skype's going to have too much business now, and it's going to cause a problem.
But Microsoft owns them, so won't that help?
Yeah,
no, that's only going to make
the 1-2 punch is what we've got. Microsoft and plus Facebook, Skype is going to start to deteriorate.
Yeah. And Microsoft is a big investor, or maybe not so big in Facebook, right? I mean,
yeah, that's how they got the. So I'm sure that's where the deal came from.
This is the Facebook, Microsoft.
This is the big payoff for Microsoft.
So my big question is, how long have they actually been working on this? Is this something that is a response to Google Plus?
How long has Google Plus been out?
Well, exactly. Or did they find out about Google Plus like a couple of weeks before it was actually announced to the public? So maybe they were just working on this as a eventual response to it.
Yeah. Well,
whatever the case is, a lot of people are looking at Mumble. I think is the one. Is Mumble?
Mumble?
Yeah, it's a SourceForge.
it's open source video chat.
It's kind of it's essentially a replacement. I guess there's some other one of these things out there. And I've used Google Talk. G Talk or whatever it's called, not Google Voice, but the other one, and it's worked fine for not so much for video, but for audio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact is that Hangouts, which is what we can create these like group conferences of 10 or 11 people, I think is max.
In what?
In Google Plus.
In Google Plus.
So this is everybody's saying that Hangouts are the coolest feature of Google Plus. I haven't used.
I mean, I like the circles. They're kind of cool. That's a nice feature to be able to create different.
I heard there's a lot of
people.
jerks in the circle.
Well, probably, but the circles are kind of cool. But the most worthless feature on Google Plus, without a doubt, is Sparks. It makes no sense. You subscribe to these different search results. You say, okay, I'm interested in robotics, and it just gives you a whole bunch of search results related to robotics. The feature is completely half-baked, and it makes no sense.
So what's the point?
There is no point. It's just it's a half-baked idea.
We got to exploit that somehow.
Yeah,
we got to socialize it. But the problem with some of these things is they reduce a lot of people to
tears,
to the emotional age of a high school student. And so what I'm wondering is about in some of these circle things, which I think is actually a pretty cool feature, and I missed it in Facebook. But what happens when people start saying, "Hey, how can I get in your circle? Why didn't you invite me into your circle?"
Well, this is ridiculous.
Isn't there going to be a lot of this high school,
Yeah.
But it's very similar to the way that Twitter works, except for you can't see which circle I put you in. You only know that I put you in a circle, but it doesn't know whether I put you in the acquaintances circle or a friend circle, family circle. You don't know that. You can't see that on that end.
But how does that like Twitter works?
Because you're following somebody, you're not just automatically friends with each other. So, for example, if you follow me, I don't necessarily have to follow you back.
Yeah, okay.
So that's actually kind of nice because some people that I might not necessarily actually want to follow
So you can put me in a circle, and then I can.
And you don't know.
But if I put you in a circle,
I'm not in the circle.
No, if I put you in a circle, if I put you in a circle, that means I follow you. But you can't see which circle I put you in. But that just means that I'm interested in some of your posts.
So it'd be kind of like lists in Twitter.
Yes, exactly. But the thing that's Twitter-like is that you follow somebody instead of just a mutual following automatically, which I think is kind of nice. But
I guess.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think this is a high school. Just get to the worst part of the human psyche.
Exactly. It's social.
I'm not on my list. I'm not on you. I'm taking you off of my list if you're not on. If I'm not on your list.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, that's pretty pathetic. So you guys have been using
a little bit. There's nobody. Not too many people on. It's sort of the usual suspects right now. Robert Scoble got thousands of friends, and
that are on it.
you already have a few. I don't know.
I got about 20 or 30 people.
Well, I can imagine why, but that's beside the point. Now,
well, the day that I got on, I invited like 40 people. There was no limit, so I just went through and invited every single person.
Hey, I've got a few friends, John.
I invited you guys that night, You guys haven't accepted it yet, but...
Yeah, I did. Oh, I didn't know that you're supposed to accept your... I mean, you got me on.
Well, I thought you're already on.
Oh, okay.
You're on, but you're on.
But I'm not on. I guess I'm not hooked up with Joe yet.
Well, why don't you guys
I'll have to
accept
do
him
that
when you got it made.
right after I get off.
So now I've written kind of in my normal casual way when I have sight unseen, I slammed it, of course, because I haven't seen it yet. So
criticize first, ask questions later.
Exactly, criticize first. By the way, for you youngsters out there, criticize first, ask questions later. It's really the key to success. I mean, it's not debatable.
All good journalists do.
But anyway, so I'm going to start looking at it. But I've noticed the feedback for it is very positive.
Yeah.
But I wonder whether or not it's just the first, these guys who get in on everything right off the bat. It's fantastic. They just love it. And then, down the road, when the actual public gets involved and they start looking at it, it flops like everything else.
I mean, honestly, it's a very polished up version of Facebook as far as the UI goes. I mean, like notifications, you can actually respond back to posts and everything right through the notification screen. So there's a couple UI elements that are actually nicer, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's just Facebook.
It's just
Facebook could add all these features into it.
Yeah.
It's a total clone.
And so
Facebook could add all these features to it very easily.
Right.
Well, why would somebody want to use Google other than you say? What about the now? One of the things that the masses, are saying is that it's got better privacy. It's better. Facebook is cavalier, and they just we're going to do whatever we want with you people, and we're going to own everything you post, and we're going to own your photos, and they're all our copyright and all the rest of it. Google claims that this is not the way they're going to play the game.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe that's true. I mean, you could very easily get a download of all your data, just like you can with Facebook. So you could see exactly what they're saving on you. And there's a lot of privacy settings in it, but honestly, it's the same thing as Facebook. No different.
Not much different. And actually,
the only difference is maybe in terms of service. That's it.
I mean, the one thing was Google was a little smarter launching this than they were on Buzz. Buzz, they just unleashed it, and
Buzz was a disaster.
But this one, I mean, it's all, the psychology of sort of being in an elite group and in a select group, I think is.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, now apparently you could buy.
They did this
on eBay or something.
They did this with Google Voice. They did with Google Voice when it first started off. It was like a big deal to get an invite. You got Google Voice, but now it's like you want.
Well, with Gmail was the same way. I mean,
Gmail
was really difficult to get into eventually.
Yeah.
I actually got my Gmail account from a contest. It was a contest where you refresh the website and it had like an advertisement up top.
Oh,
and as soon as you got the specific number, you would win. Well, I actually cheated. I just set up a wget script just to run all night, and then the next day I just looked for congratulations, took that, sent it to the person, I had my invite. But
the other thing too is that I mean, what I hear from people I know at Google is that Google is totally obsessed with Facebook, and they.
That's because Facebook, this reminds me of the days when Microsoft was totally obsessed with Netscape, because somebody at Netscape threatened Microsoft by saying, one of these days, and it was Andreessen, I believe, said, one of these days we'll own the internet because everyone's going to come through us and there's not going to be an operating system anymore. It's going to be all online. And Microsoft said, wait a minute, and they went after them, and I think Google's trying to do the same thing because Facebook says they're going to take over search.
Right. So the question is, I mean, look at some of the smartest people in the world work at Google. I mean, this is what Google does. They hire people just to take them off the market. They'll hire a PhD for a huge salary just to make sure
they claim to have more PhDs than any company in the world.
So the question is, do these people who are highly, intellectualized have sort of the right stuff to create something that's social? I don't know.
That's questionable.
I mean, these antisocial type of people, are they the ones that are creating the social?
That's why I always think that's why when I wrote my column Sight Unseen, of course, Criticize First, I mentioned this situation, which is Google by its nature is not a social company.
Exactly. Analytical.
Facebook is a total. I mean, there's social nutcases in there. I mean, they're all introverted too, but they're oriented toward the social, and I think they would have an edge over time. But Google's got a lot of smart guys, so we'll find out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they add third-party application support or not, kind of like what Facebook does. Because I got a lot of my friends that will not sign up to Facebook because they don't want the Mafia Wars and they don't want all those games that people are playing.
Zynga.
They don't want to see, not just them, but they don't want to see all these thousands of different clones of those same games. No. They don't want to see all those notifications. Oh yeah, I got to level 5. Nobody cares.
Right.
Now, if Google Plus doesn't add that support, that actually could get a lot of people to finally sign up for those because people are just kind of tired of those third-party apps.
I on my Twitter account, not to belabor this segment, but I have, every time I see somebody with a Foursquare, I'm eating a burger at the Wichita McDonald's, and then it's got a little Foursquare link that, what am I supposed to click on this and see what the burger place looks like? I ban them. They're taken right off. I mean, every time I see one of these things, because I find
I noticed you removed me after I did a koala post.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Well, there you have it. At least I'm democratic. You were out.
Yep.
Because I just get tired of it. I mean, if I want to see what somebody's
doing... You didn't get where you are today by watching everybody's Foursquare.
If I wanted to see what somebody was doing on Foursquare, I would subscribe to Foursquare.
Exactly.
Twitter is for like informational. Well, if you atone, I can put you back on.
I see.
You've been watching X3.